Hi, Sikandar bhai. Firstly, congratulations on a great tournament. Coming into this tournament, not many gave Zimbabwe a chance, and you had to go through your own share of personal setbacks as well. But just the way the Zimbabwe played in this tournament, topping the group, reaching the Super 8, how do you reflect back on this journey, both personally and as a side? And I've got another question. Next month, you'll be turning 40, but it just looked like you're getting better and better with each passing day. So what's the road ahead for Sikandar Raza?
I think looking back, I rather my teammates reflect on how, as a leader and how, as a player, I've gone about it. I've always struggled to openly sort of speak about myself, how I've gone about it. But regarding the team point of view, I know I'm incredibly proud of this bunch of boys. Like you said, not many teams or people gave us a chance. Most importantly, even if you look at it today, we were out, but I have huge respect for Delhi and the crowd, the way they were chanting Zimbabwe. The ultimate goal for me and for my team was to earn respect. And hearing Zimbabwe and the fans and the crowd coming up for this so-called dead rubber and support Zimbabwe, it tells you that we are going home with a lot of respect. And once you have gained that respect, for me, I can hold my head high with my teammates and go home proudly. Regarding Sikandar Raza turning 40, well, hopefully I get there, but inshallah, see how it goes. But one day at a time, one game at a time, and see how the body feels. And see how much more can I give to my country. Yeah.
Sikandar, if I'm not mistaken, you are fasting, right?
Yes, this is Ramadan and I am fasting.
So where do you get this energy from? Fasting, it's not from morning to evening you are playing. So where do you get this energy from? And can you just elaborate on how different you go about your routine during the fasting, while fasting and practicing and playing?
I think it's a myth that fasting takes energy from you. If anything, fasting gives you discipline and sort of make you mentally and physically stronger. So the routine will be, every city has different timings, but I remember looking at the timetable that I was sent by a friend. Daily is 5:22 in the morning is when I stop eating, drinking, and then 6:23 is when I start eating and drinking. So it's just a matter of 13 hours. The previous games were 7 p.m. start, so it was just touch and go. But the day game could be tough, but now, man, fasting is easy. Or you do feel different, so you feel stronger and better.
Hi, Sikandar. Yeah. Sikandar, we just had a word with the coach, and he was saying just 18 months back, you guys were playing the the African sub-regional tournaments. So I just want to ask you, in that 18-month period leading up to this and now, what really changed? What was the talks about? I mean, what kind of journey was that, and what really was the talks and strategies, and what really changed, in that 18 months?
Well, I'll give you a very simple answer. What changed was that we just changed our culture. Either we can blame the management, the resources, or we can blame ourselves. And I think as a team we agreed that it is our fault that Zimbabwe is in this mess. So once we sort of agreed on that it is our fault, then we took it upon ourselves, this 16 to 18 group of guys that we had, that it is going to be us who's going to take Zimbabwe out of this mess. And once we do that, along the way, we're going to try and earn a lot of respect from the world. So once we agreed on that, there was no turning back.
Captain, before the game started, you spoke about the importance of maintaining your position in the top 8 now. So how do you plan to do that? How do you plan to remain a mid-level team? What are the areas of improvement, if you can provide the specifics?
So, sir, everything takes time. It has been a beautiful World Cup for Zimbabwe, where the lessons we have taken in the Super 8 has sort of given us, has been a real eye-opener. We now know the combinations that we need. We now know what needs to be done for us to be a mid-table team to start with. We now know where the areas we need to get better at. We now know that how the game has moved, how the game progressed with smaller grounds, with bigger grounds, with slower grounds and things like that. We have now learned how tough it is at times to travel and play, but we know now how to manage. So all these lessons that we have learned, even though we have lost the games, have been so valuable that hopefully if we find Zimbabwe in the similar position next time, I'm backing this team to do well, or to at least do better than what we have done now.
Raza, you've got 2 guaranteed more World Cups, obviously the home one and 2028. It's maybe a bit unfair to ask you now, but if you had to think of one thing Zimbabwe could look at as they hope to compete better at those tournaments, what would you say that could be, whether it's personnel or tactics or anything like that?
First of all, hi, Ms. Fidosa. It's very nice to see you here, as you're the African representative for us, so it's lovely to see you. Ms. Fidosa, what I would say is that if we can have more games, especially away, because I'm a big believer of that the lessons you learn when you're touring as a country are far more valuable than sometimes playing at home. I think as a Zimbabwean side, we need to learn to be uncomfortable so that we can learn those lessons, so that when we find ourselves in situations that are slightly better or comfortable for Zimbabwe, we can cross the line. As much as we have home tours, I sincerely hope, even though the World Cup is in Africa, so it might be slightly difficult because every country wants to travel to Africa now, but if Zimbabwe can host, and travel away, Ms. Firdausa, I think for the growth of this young squad, our growth will be a lot faster, and I think that's what we need because we do not have a lot of time. The World Cup is going to come to us pretty quickly.
Hi, Skipper. I have a two-part question for you. First, a word on Brian Bennett. I mean, we heard the coach saying a lot of good things about him and the phenomenal last 12 months he had. But from your perspective, how happy have you been with the growth of Brian Bennett? And second, after the presentation ceremony, you were there to acknowledge the Castle Crown people, the fans in Zimbabwe who were chanting your name today. So a word on them as well and the support which has been valuable for you guys to put your best on the field.
Yeah, I think, first of all, credit to Brian Bennett, his family, his mom and dad, the way they have raised him as a fine human being. And his early coaches that have worked with him, suddenly they take a lot of credit. I have done nothing in his development or growth. The only thing I've done is try and manage him and give him the platform, but all the credit goes to Brian Bennett and his family. When we had Brian Bennett some time back, we could tell that this boy is going to be special, but I can put my hand on heart and tell you I never thought his improvement will be as swift and as quickly. So all the credit goes to Brian Bennett for how he has rocked up into this tournament and how consistent he has been. He's every captain's dream because he's an opener. If you have a good opener who's consistent, it takes half of your problems away. And regarding the Castle Corner, firstly, Castle Corner, like I said previously as well, we have a personal relation with them. We know each member of the Castle Corner with their names. We know their families, the kids, and everything. So they're not just fans for us. They're pretty much part of our cricketing family. So our relation with Castle Corner runs a lot deeper than just our relation with fans. And lastly, on the crowd to Delhi, I just want to say thank you very much. The chanting of Zimbabwe, the support you guys have showed us, and the respect and love you guys have shown us, I'm going home with a lot of very fond memories, and I'll forever be grateful to this Delhi crowd.
Hey, Skipper, there's a lot of talk going around Brian Bennett. So I have a question. Has Bollywood approached Brian Bennett yet for a biopic?
If I be honest with you, I hope they don't.
Okay.
I hope Brian Bennett keeps focusing on cricket and stay away from Bollywood for now at least. He's too young to be there.
And one more question I have. How this performance is going to impact Zimbabwe cricket in the long run?
Oh, certainly. I mean, if you have Brian Bennett, the more he plays, the senior he becomes. Right now he's performing, but there will be a time when he'll take a lot more players with him, help them, because clearly he's doing something that's working. So hopefully, he'll take his batting partners with him as well once he becomes a senior, because as a senior cricketer, you don't just have to focus on your performance, you also have to get the performance out of the juniors or your batting partners as well. So the more Brian Bennett plays, you will see that the players that bat around Brian Bennett would also start to improve. So I think for his long-term role, Brian has a huge role to play for Zimbabwe and his growth and his development.